Well, this is Jameson with UMTR, and I am joined here today by Mr. Jake Hegge, who is the owner of Trail Transformation out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, correct?
Correct.
Or La
Yep.
Crosse, yep, okay. And so we're here to talk about what he's been up to during this COVID time. Trail Transformation is one of the race series sponsors for UMTR races. Obviously, since races aren't happening a lot right now, we want to spend some time helping you get to know these people who are in our running community and have been important parts of our running community for a long time and have supported trail running all around the upper Midwest for quite a while. And so, Jake, I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time here tonight to talk with me.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me. So, kind of diving into Trail Transformation, we're a coaching service that's completely online, six coaches, dietitian, working with runners of all levels, road runners, entry level road runners, all the way to elite ultra marathoners and everyone in between. But kind of how it all got started is we're all physical therapists and really looking for a way to, transition people from the rehab world back into running, making sure that they're avoiding all of those aches and pains and injuries that kept sidelining them, and then taking it a step further. Let's make sure we can get this person on a good training plan to avoid those issues from ever happening. Not only getting to the starting line, but achieving their goals as well. And obviously things have been a little bit tough so far this year with a lot of the goal races, early on in the spring being canceled. So, we're kind of having to reevaluate the big picture side of things with the training plan.
Sure. So during this time, what are you guys doing to keep business going and to kind of continue to be out there in the trail running community?
Yeah. So, obviously a lot of us, sign up for races, right? It's a really good way to kind of test your fitness, see where things are at, the social side of things. That's, one of the best ways to test your fitness. And, that's why we do these ultra marathons and, the shorter trail races too is, get out there, get out of your comfort zone, explore new things. But without these events happening, it changes that up a little bit. So really diving back into the main reason, why do you run, right? We don't run just for the races. There's other reasons why. So kind of scaling it back and looking, okay, what's the deep reason of why you wanted to start running in the first place? Is it, mental health, physical health? Is it, an outlet with your family, with friends? Really looking at, oh, we have a little guy crying in the background.
No worry. No, not a
But,
problem.
really assessing the why behind the running.
And so you're still doing coaching right now, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So all of our clients are still training. It doesn't, just because races aren't happening doesn't mean you can't stop training. And this is actually a really unique time because, with all these spring races, people are, typically either, peaking or, starting to taper for a big race, or they're recovering from a big race. And, that takes a good month between, a taper, a race, and recovery, depending on how long the race, it might even be 2 months. So by not having that race, it actually can benefit quite a few people because you're able to extend your training cycle quite a bit more versus having that, that taper and then the recovery process. And you're able just to really focus on the things that may be neglected, during that previous buildup. So let's say like someone's gearing up for a big, 50K or 50 mile, or even, their first trail race. They're putting in a lot of miles. A lot of those other things may be neglected, the stretching and mobility, the strength training, the nutrition. You can back off of the mileage a little bit because you're not having to train for that race, and you can focus on some of those other things that might be neglected.
It's wonderful. And so are you guys still taking new clients or?
Yeah, of course. We've actually had quite a few people join on just in the last couple of weeks because they're like, well, I don't have a race right now and I don't know what to do. And I've been kind of going around in circles with the same, training plan, or, same basic like mileage and workouts, and not really getting anywhere. We might not even have, events later this year in 2020, but what we're really trying to emphasize is, let's look big picture, not just this season, but what what's your goal for 2021? What's your goal in 5 years and 10 years? Because those are where you see the big gains. It's not just the season, it's the big picture planning side of things.
And so now trail transformation is more than just you.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So who else is on the team with you?
So Michael Borst, also PT, he's ran a bunch of the Rock Steady races here in the Upper Midwest. I think he was actually ultra runner of the year through UMTR at some point. Tyler Hines, he's up in the cities. Michael Rodriguez, he's up in the Twin Cities. Spencer Agnew, he's down in the Madison area. We have Pat Griffith, who's also here in La Crosse. Rachel Turry, the dietitian, she's up in the Twin Cities. And then Austin Astrom, who's down here in La Crosse as well.
So you got quite a full team there, and it
Yes,
sounds
we
like
do.
with a dietitian
and that's part
on
of the
staff.
fun part.
Yeah, and with a dietitian on staff, you're able to actually go into more than just the physical training too, but you can actually help people focus on some of their eating as well.
Yes, for sure. And Rachel actually just came out with a pretty interesting blog post a couple weeks ago called the Rona Rant. You can go one of two ways. You can, slack off a little bit. It's a stressful time. It's okay to stress eat a little bit. It's one less thing to add to your plate. But on the flip side, right, is you might have a little bit more downtime. You might have a little bit more focus to truly, nail in or hammer in on the nutrition side of your training. But, it goes one of two ways. And, 1 week might be good and one week might be bad, but ultimately it's not the end of the world. But nutrition is definitely one of those things we are really trying to push to focus on this time. It's far too easy just to walk to the fridge and back.
I believe you. I think we've had a few batches of fresh chocolate chip cookies appear on our countertops, which hasn't helped. But so during this time when people are not necessarily training for races and they're just doing training, people are maybe staying a little closer to their neighborhood. They might not be going out and hitting big trails, or they might just be doing a lot of pavement. What are some pieces of advice that you can give folks during this time to help them kind of stay stable throughout this time without, losing maybe some fitness that they built up over last year or the winter and things like that?
Yeah, good question. So, it's obviously individual, but a lot of ultra runners, trail runners just, start to get so obsessed with the volume, the mileage side of this. If you're truly trying to stay, close to home, sticking to the roads, avoiding some congested areas, now is a really good time to work on the speed component. So, running around your block, maybe it's, 400 meters, around your block or something, or you can do some mile repeats, working on some of the speed that we unfortunately tend to lose in the trail running world. And we all know that what the ultra shuffle is, but rarely do we get out of our comfort zone and actually push the speed. And like I said earlier, by not having a race that we need to get that volume in, we can scale it back and look at the important fundamentals of, running. Obviously you need some good base mileage, but, something that we really try to focus on early on is the intensity side of things, the speed, because if you can train your body to go faster, it's going to make it that much easier to go slower when you do the longer races.
Sure. That's some really cool advice. So how can folks support trail transformation during this time?
Yeah. So, really spreading the word of other things to be doing outside of running. And that's, as a physical therapist, something that we can't emphasize enough. There's more to training than just running. There's the stretching, the mobility, the strength training side of it. So, even just looking at, contacting one of us, asking for some simple, advice on exercise. Let's say you have a nagging pain or an ache or just some sort of deficit that you've started to notice, like, my right leg gets really sore late in the race, or I'm just not very good at climbing the hills or descending. That's kind of why we're here, is to help with the kind of the biomechanical things of running. Obviously there's the physiological from the training component, but from the physical side of things with our programming, really diving into the strength training side of things. So, we have a couple different plans on there. We have some ebooks that people can download too, just looking at the getting on some really simple home exercise routines, or you can kind of go more of the customized route, seeing what equipment do you have at home, and make the most of that.
Cool. So how can people find Trail Transformation? What are the ways they can contact you?
So we have a Facebook page, Trail Transformation, and an Instagram page, and a website, trailtransformation.com.
Okay, sounds good. We'll put all that in the description of the video here, and maybe also a link to that blog post that you were talking about
Of
from
course.
Richard. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So thanks for taking some time tonight and talking about this. Like I said, we wanted to tell people a little bit about Trail Transformation. For those of you who maybe are not UMTR members, we're still doing things. We're still trying to do these videos. We're trying to do virtual runs, trying to keep the community going. And so if you're not a member of UMTR, we'd encourage you to go to umtr.org and join us. It's a relatively inexpensive yearly membership. It gets you access to our various race series when they happen. It also gets you discounts at a lot of different running stores around the area and other local businesses that we support. And probably not a banquet this year, but in the future we usually have banquets. We have very interesting speakers at those banquets. And also you can feel good because you know that a lot of almost all the proceeds that we receive as an organization end up going back to donating to the trail organizations that we love. And so we'd encourage you to join us here at UMTR. We encourage you to check out Trail Transformation and see what Jake and his crew are up to and see if maybe they are a good fit for you as you're training for your next big run or just trying to stay healthy during this time. So Jake, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you out there on the trails eventually.
Yes, you too. Hopefully sometime soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.